Welcome, UCL fans, to our Season 2 Week 10 preview. I am, of course, your host, and Town Fanatic 64. I'm here to link up the 8 matchups that are going to be taking place tomorrow on Saturday, September 17th. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, it's very late. Well, not very late, but I've had a long day, and I needed to get this done, and I'm up recording this right before I upload it. So, if you do enjoy this video, I hope you leave it a thumbs up. Let me know down below what matchups you're looking forward to most this weekend. And don't forget to subscribe, where I do this UCL video stuff every Tuesday and Friday. So let's take a look up at our first matchup here. We have the Toronto Togekiss 4 and 5 taking on the Pittsburgh Pichus, who are 5 and 4. Definitely is going to be an interesting, matchup to say the least. I would have to say a little bit more. I don't know who to give a more favoritive matchup to. I would think maybe the Pittsburgh Pichus, but I did the same thing last week. I gave them the favoritism, I think, over the Manchester Magnezones just because of the experience, and they ended up losing. So, this one's going to be a really close one. Pittsburgh kind of in a must-win situation, like they must try and win for the next several weeks to even have a chance at playoffs. If they do lose this week, I'm pretty sure they will be completely out of playoff contention. So, must-win matchup for the Pittsburgh Pichus. Moving on to our second matchup, we have the Manchester Magnezones and the Bristol City Blazekins. Again, Manchester Magnezones being vastly better than they were in Season 1, just by having at least 4 wins is already 4 times better than they had last season. Bristol City Blazekins definitely, making some good improvements. In a similar situation, a lot of teams that are in this 5 and 4 position are in like must-win situations and are also hoping for certain teams to lose over the next several weeks. But Bristol City Blazekins have a shot at playoffs still. They just need to make sure they don't lose any more matchups if they want to make sure they maintain that playoff position. So a little bit too hard to call who would actually win this one. So I'm not even going to bother trying for most of these matchups. I'm not even bother trying too much anymore. Next up, we have the St. Louis Rampardos 6 and 3, and the Philadelphia for Alligators 3 and 6. St. Louis a little bit have a better chance at potentially making playoffs right now. Obviously, not as great as their season 1 appearance where they went 14 and 1, but they're just right behind in a chance for playoff. Like, they're in 5th place, and only the top 4 teams will make it into the playoffs. So they basically cannot lose any more matchups to at least try and maintain that one. And they also have to hope that one of the teams in 4th place, at least lose 1 or 2 matchups to even have a chance at making the playoffs this season. Philadelphia for Alligators here to just have the fun, but they can try and ruin somebody's season just by having another upset victory. They could pull through. You never know. You can never take the Philadelphia for Alligators lightly, even if they don't have a mega this season. It's just a team not to sleep on for it. 4th matchup, we have the Long Island Reggie Rockies and the Tulsa Town Flames. Both teams just trying to jockey, have a little bit better records. Tulsa Town Flames only having 1 win this season. Potentially could have had 2, but did forfeit 1 matchup. So who knows what that would have ended up happening. Might have still have the same record, but might even be at the 2 and 7 like the Long Island Reggie Rockies. Long Island desperately trying to get some more victories for it. They don't want to be as bottom barrel as they are right now. If they can win the remaining 6 matchups, of course, they'll be positive in the record, which I'm sure is something that most teams want to try and get at as well for it. So definitely should be a good matchup. Cannot wait to see how those 2 teams fight. Next up in our 5th match, we have the Newcastle Nido Kings at 4 and 5 taking on the Durham Druddigons, who are 8 and 1. Durham Druddigons, essentially have made the playoffs. The only way that they could potentially lose now playoff positions is if they end up losing every match for now until the end of the season, as well as other teams actually winning majority of their matchups for it, because they will. Even if they were to lose every matchup, it will be 8 and 7. But the other teams would also have to lose to try and make sure that they have it. I don't foresee that happening. They've been playing very well this season. They were the only team to defeat both the Bronx Bear Ticks as well as the Real Morrill. The only team so far to beat the Real Morrill. So definitely one of the heavy favorites to make playoffs and potentially even make it into the championships. They did really well in Season 1, had to drop out due to personal reasons. So hopefully, as long as nothing personal comes up, they have a good chance at making playoffs and even potentially winning the championship. So can't wait to see how they actually will do this week. Moving on to our sixth matchup, we have the Bronx Bearticks, 7-2, taking on the Grand Canyon Greninjas. Grand Canyon Greninjas have had a little bit of a rough go this season. Have a really good and scary draft, just have not been utilizing it properly. So if they can actually attempt to utilize some of the big threats, such as using Skarmory well, using the Mega Charizard X well, might have been better if they had maybe a different draft in the end for their last pick, because obviously they drafted Dedenne as their final pick. Not the greatest pick in there. They've never even brought it once. Probably won't bring it at all this season. But if they can learn to use Mega Charizard X properly, there's a good chance of them actually winning some matchups. But this week against the Bronx Bearticks, it's going to be very scary and very hard to beat. When you have scary mons such as Manaphy, the Kyurem Black, Garchomp. There's even, of course, some of the ones that maybe not as scary, but just don't die with like Reuniclus and Tangrowth. You know, he has mons that just do not die. Don't die easily, at least for it. So I would have to say for this one, it's the only matchup I would give, more than likely a chance of winning will go to the Bronx Bearticks for it. So unless, Twit and the Grand Canyon Greninjas can actually pull a rabbit out of their hat and win, I don't see it happening. Next up, we have the Carolina Keldeos and the South Beach Slow Kings. Carolina Keldeos 7-2, the only other team in fourth place right now. So them and the Bronx Bearticks are the third and fourth place teams. Carolina is probably, even though they're in fourth place right now, I don't foresee them keeping that fourth place spot. Sorry for all the outside noises. I don't foresee them keeping that fourth place spot over the next 6 weeks, the next 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, yeah, over the next 6 weeks, because they still have to take on the Bronx Bearticks themselves. They have to take on the Real Marill. They have to take on, I believe, the Durham Druddigon. So they have a lot of scary teams that they have to go up against, which is why I said teams such as like the St. Louis Rampardos, the Pittsburgh Pichus, Bristol City Blazekins, not Toronto, the Tucson Terrakions, all have chances of making playoffs because, the Carolina Keldeos, now they could prove me wrong, and they could end up winning, and I hope that they do because they've been doing really well this season. But if they end up, this is like the last kind of easy week, I would say, that they have with the South Beach Slow Kings. I'm not trying to say the South Beach Slow Kings will be a pushover team. They could still put in a good fight, and as long as they bring the right mons, can have another win under their belt. Or actually, do they? No, yeah, that's right. They are 1-8. I've just said double. Didn't they? My bad. Alright, so I forgot to change it on it. I'm pulling up too many things. So the South Beach Slow Kings are actually, 1-9. That's from. They're actually supposed to be 2-7, not 1-8. So that's my bad. Just ignore that part for right now. South Beach Slow Kings 2-8. Could try and get another win, but the threats on the Carolina Keldeos are very scary, so I don't foresee them having a chance at winning for it, because I guess you could say the threats on the Carolina Keldeos outweigh the threats of the South Beach Slow Kings. So still could end up getting either way, but I would have to probably give, more of a nudge for winning it to Carolina Keldeos, but they're kind of in must win as well if they want to maintain it, because they're in that fourth place spot, and of all of the other teams, one of the not most experienced battlers here. Again, I always spend so much time when it comes to this team just because they've been shocking me at how well they've done, and I want them to keep doing this well. So we'll just have to wait and see how they actually end up playing. So final matchup for the week: Real Marill, Tucson Terrakions. This is the height. I forgot to say this is the height match of the week as well. As far as I know, these two teams have never met before, or at least the two coaches never met in any form of Wi-Fi battle before. Maybe they have from years ago on it. I'm not 100% sure. But this is definitely Tucson Terrakions in a must-win situation if they want to have any chance at maintaining their playoff dreams for it. So, but they have the toughest team in the league right now with the Real Marill. Arguably, one of the best, top-ranked teams of all. Obviously, tied for first place if you just look at, the records alone. Second place if you look at the records and throw into the fact of who ended up losing to who. First place if you actually look at it by differential. So depending on how all you look at it, there's always, it's one of the top teams this season. Tucson Terracans have had a little bit of a stumble that in the last several weeks have not won the last couple games, but could still turn around. Play really well. It's going to be a good matchup. I personally cannot wait to see how this matchup plays out. I wish them both the best of luck. I hope teams will at least this will be one of, I think, like I said, the best matchups this week, which is why it is the hype match of the week. So, but that's going to do it for our preview for Week 10. Let me know down below who you're rooting for, which matchups you're even looking forward to. Are you looking forward to the hype match between the Real Madrid and the Tucson Rackets, or do you believe one of the other matches should have been the hype match of the week? Let me know down below. Don't forget to subscribe to me, where I will do these UCL videos. Tuesday I'll have my review. It might be a day late because I have a lot of things going on. And then by week 12 stuff, my week 12 stuff will probably be later than usual, just due to the fact that I will have be actually getting married, so I will not, I'll try to make sure I have at least my preview video up, but the actual review and rankings for week 12 will probably, be 10, for week 12 will probably be late, if possibly not even there at all, so I will apologize in advance on that, but of course I'll also say that during that time as well. But I've gone on long enough for this. Thank you all very much for watching. You all have yourselves a good time. Take care and goodbye.